Okay. Well, one, good to see everybody. Hope all of you had a great Christmas season. And I apologize if I start coughing. I'm still recovering from, I think, from New York City. So that took a lot out of me. But it's been a great break, and certainly we're excited for both January 2nd, the first game for men's basketball versus Cornell in the Foster Pavilion, and then to follow that up the next day on January 3rd versus TCU women's basketball. So with that, we will open it up for questions.
Mack, I guess Scott said something about how much work had been done over the holidays. Have you noticed a significant difference in maybe pre-Christmas and right now?
Yeah, I think a lot has transpired over the holidays, and we've got great people. I particularly think about Henry Howard and Drew Pittman, and then certainly Pat Carley and J.D. Jethro with the university, and it's been full time for them, and they've been great about sending pictures. And so it seems like every day they send a new picture, and it looks different, and so great progress has been made. Austin Commercial, cannot say enough about them. If you'll remember, we broke ground in May of 22, and so literally 20 months later, that's a pretty aggressive timeline to be able to open up a brand new arena, and so they've been tremendous, as has our architects, AECOM, and then the city of Waco has played a significant role, and I think that's one of the special things about this particular facility is I think it really provides a connection between Baylor University and the city of Waco, and I think that's good for our community.
Mack, what's it been like for you to see it develop in those 20 months every time you drive over the highway and see it get closer and closer to completion?
Yeah, I intentionally tried to not pay attention, to look at it each and every day, but it's hard not to notice how fast the building went up, and again, it's an exciting project. I was saying this earlier today. When I arrived on this campus in August of 16, there was conversation about what are we going to do with the Farrell Center, and it had all been put on hold because of the scandal and everything that had happened, that previous summer. And so, we began really talking about basketball, facility, what's that going to look like, back in the latter half of or that last part of 2016, and really begin to think about, hey, does it make sense to, renovate Farrell, decrease the seating in Farrell, or do we really need to take a hard look about building something brand new, and what does that look like when we think about cost feasibility, and so we went through that study, that process. So it's been a long time, and for us to now finally get here, I think it's a dream come true for many, and so many people involved in this process. Obviously couldn't happen without Paula and Alejandra Foster. Their generosity, a $100 million gift to the university, $75 million for this facility. That's really what really drove this home, and certainly so many other donors have come along the way as well to make it happen. But grateful for both Paul and Alejandra, and again, it's a dream come true, and really excited. I think I'm excited for really two specific groups of people. One, our student athletes. I think it's going to be a really special place for them to play in. I think they're going to feel the energy. They're going to feel the fans right on top of them. And then I'm really excited for our fans. I think the in-seat experience, the fan experience, is going to be tremendous for them as well.
Mack, you kind of touched on it, and you opened up to both of y'all. Can you talk about how important it is for the fans to show up at the pavilion, and what can they expect in these first two games?
Yeah, so I'll certainly ask Jovan to touch on it. But I think, first, we were very, very intentional about the size of the pavilion, and I think very similar, when we moved from Floyd Casey, 50,000 to 45 in McLean. We did a lot of work. So going back to 2016 and 17 and, reaching out to third parties, and then also, self-studies, looking at attendance for the last 10 years for both men's basketball, women's basketball, right? And so really trying to be intentional about the right size for us, this balance of, making this the place to be, this idea of supply and demand, and yet still being enough to accommodate, most, if not all. And I think we've landed, at that right spot with 7,500 capacity. This is something, Farrell Center's been a great home when we fill it. And I think you all remember the Big 12 study, and, Farrell was one of the worst home court advantages in the Big 12. And we need to change that. We need to flip that. And I think this facility will do that for us, where it will now become one of the best home court advantages, and that we can have a capacity of 7,500 consistently.
Yeah, I think Max said it well. I know you've heard this statistic before, but in the pavilion, the furthest seat from the court is 54 feet closer than it was in the Farrell Center. So you're literally sitting on top of the action. So the facility itself will take care of a lot of it for itself. Just fans being close to the action, students courtside. We have 360 view concourse, so you don't have to miss any of the action. I think it's just a great opportunity for fans to really be tight in to the experience. We'll have some great acts and some great activations that are part of it. State-of-the-art technology and all of the video boards, ribbon boards. I mean, it's really just a special facility that a lot has went into to ensure that the experience is just top-notch.
Jovan, you mentioned the video boards, kind of a distinct shape and looks a lot larger. How will that kind of enhance what we've had in the past to enhance the fan experience?
Yeah, credit to this guy over here for the video boards and the style and design of that. It's quite different than what we've had before with the center hung, but you actually have more square footage as far as space and viewing area, and that kind of being able to take over the facility with the two end boards, the ribbon boards, all of the different spaces. It's really going to be quite the experience when that's all up and running.
Matt, in terms of the construction, when will it be fully complete, or the hope is to have everything in terms of the Foster fully complete, and how do you make it feel like a basketball arena while still being technically a construction?
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to finish that for you while still being a construction site. No, I appreciate the question. I think, the arena portion of the pavilion, I think when you walk in, when our fans walk in, it will certainly feel complete. There'll be, a few things, some signage, some decor maybe that will still need to be completed. But I think, the in-seat experience, the arena itself will feel complete. I think the experience that our fans have walking into the arena will also be complete, other than some landscaping. The development center on the north end will be really the live construction site that will still be ongoing. We anticipate that being completed sometime, hopefully end of spring, early summer, so then both of the basketball programs can actually move out of the Farrell Center and into the development center. And, we had a lot of conversation and really vetted, the pluses and minuses. Do we move in? Do we play the Big 12 conference seasons for both men's and women's basketball without the development center being completed? And I think there were two primary drivers for us when we thought about that decision. One were our student athletes, giving our student athletes, particularly our seniors, an opportunity to play in a venue like this. And as I mentioned earlier, I think that experience, the energy, all of those things, really wanted to deliver that for them. And then I think for our basketball programs, given our programs, both of them, we knew that they were going to be, really, really good teams, this year, but giving them the best home court advantage that they could have during the Big 12 season so that they can go on, compete for Big 12 championship, national championship, et cetera. And again, I think that in-seat experience, the energy, our fans, all those things are going to do that for both of our programs.
I want you to touch on parking, for fans' experience, having to navigate that.
Yeah, it's going to be different. It's going to be different when you think about an arena that's located downtown, municipally. I think our team, and again, we've asked for help and received help from third party. But you think about, right adjacent to the arena, there's about 775 spaces. When we think about the parking garage right there, that's adjacent, Clifton Robinson Tower, the Webster parking garage. There's an additional 1,600 spaces within, 20 minutes walking of the arena. The city has designated 10 free parking areas as well, and they'll run a shuttle service. We'll have parking at McLean with shuttle service, or you can walk parking at Farrell Center. So I think it's been a really, really thoughtful approach in terms of parking and access and ingress, egress. And so, Jovan, her team, Henry, Drew, all of them have done a great job in terms of putting a really, I think, sound plan together.
Mack, you've been to field houses as opposed to arenas. Can you feel the difference in pretty much all of them that you've been to?
Say that again, John.
Yeah, you've been to field houses as compared to arenas. Can you feel the difference? Pretty much all of them you've been to as far as the crowd and just how it affects the game.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly can. I think we were very intentional about. In fact, it was the very first conversation that we ever had that if we're going to do this, this is a basketball intentional facility. Period. Okay. That we are going to build it to meet the needs of our basketball programs and our fans. And so we were very intentional about the field house design, about walking in, about clean sight lines, big volume, about holding noise, right? Making sure that in the arena portion, it can be as loud as possible, again, for our fans and for our basketball programs. And so the architects did a great job. One of the things that was, it didn't feel like it at the time, but actually you now look back, that was a blessing, was COVID during this process. And so if you all remember during that period of time during COVID, we had to put everything on pause for about 12 to 18 months because we didn't know the financial ramifications for the institution. Well, what that allowed us to do was to spend some extra time, additional time in design work. And so we probably spent 6 months just on the seating bowl alone and just going back and forth and challenging our architects and AECOM and making sure, hey, we design an intimate seating bowl where our fans are right on top of the action. There is no bad seat in the building. And I think, again, we really came out ahead because of that extra additional time that we probably wouldn't have otherwise had. But love the field house design, and I think it's really, really unique. And again, one of the other special things that is spectacular about this campus, very similar to McLean Stadium, is to being able to put this facility right on the river. Not many people across the country can replicate that.
With all the construction and everything, do you already view this as a success for Baylor? Or are you kind of waiting to see how the fan turnout is and how they feel about it?
You know, that's an interesting question. You know, I certainly look at it as a success because it's taken so many people to get it to this point in time. It's been our donors. It's been, you know, our facilities folks. It's been, you know, Austin Commercial, AECOM. It's taken a tremendous amount. It's been our Board of Regents. It's been President Livingstone. It's been this entire campus. And then I think, you know, step two of that will be, you know, our teams, you know, really owning, you know, the building and making it one of the toughest places to play in the entire country.
How does having two teams that are really good add to your excitement, you know, opening this on a real high for both programs?
Yeah, I mean, I think it certainly helps, and I think it's two programs that are really deserving of a building like this. You know, both will continue to compete for Big 12 championships, and both will continue to compete for national championships. And I think this building will be part of that story.
Jovan, what aspect of Foster are you most excited to see in action and see fans' reaction to?
Yeah, oh gosh, that's a great question. Honestly, I think just the intensity of the environment. I think Mack alluded to it. When you go in there and you just, whether you're testing audio right now or you're looking at the visuals on the screens, it's really strong. It's a really impactful experience from just the vibrancy of the images, the audio, how strong it is at various points of the facility. So I think just the dynamics of everything at play at once, and again, being so tight in on the action and just how it's going to really impact that on-court experience. I'm just excited for it's like turning a new page in the history book, so excited about it.
I don't know if you have a handle on this, Jovan or Mack, but what has the ticket demand been like, particularly on the men's side? Are there seats left, that kind of thing?
Do you want this?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, this is part of the change and just kind of the capacity and what it looks like. They're high-profile programs, and so, yeah, there's been extreme demand. We've implemented the ticket return policies, so the Pack the Pavilion policy that will allow us to ensure that the facility is kept green and gold, and so that while we might be sold out for games and sold out in season tickets, there's opportunity for those that might want to not use their tickets for a game. They'll be able to hand those off to a Baylor faculty or staff member. Women's, there's still tickets available. We certainly want to encourage people to attend those games as well. But again, high demand, great demand for both. So we're excited to have an opportunity to fill those seats.
I will say I'm grateful to Jovan and her team. The ticket return, you know, program. We've always had one, but this is a next level. You know, someone completely dedicated to it, and again, making sure that that we keep the facility, you know, packed. We're a little bit different because of where we're located. We've got a lot of season ticket holders that live in the Dallas and the Houston and in the Austin areas, and so they have to travel. And some of the weekday games, we want to make sure if they're not going to be in their seats that we have other Baylor fans in their seats.
Are the two games this coming week, are they still out?
I honestly, I don't have numbers in front of me. So.
The men's game, yes.
The women's is not?
Not at this time.
You know how many are left?
I am not certain in this moment.
We'll get you that number.
Yeah.
How about the concession areas? Will they all be open?
Be up and running.
They will. Concessions and restrooms will all be working. By the way, big game for our women's basketball team tomorrow at 1 p.m. down in Austin. So excited about that contest.
Matt, real quick off of that, Nikki had talked, I think, post-game, after their last game in the Farrell, just to confirm what she had said, if they hosted NCAA tournament, that would be in the Farrell no matter what in terms of.
Yes, if you know, if we continue to have the season we are and we're able to host, we will host that here, just because of the development center and trying to accommodate, you know, 4 teams over at the Foster would be hard to do.
Was there any serious thought to waiting till everything was in place
Yeah.
You touched on it with what you wanted to do for the athletes
Yeah.
and others, but
Yeah, no,
what's your mind to wait until the very end?
no, we had a lot of conversation about, you know, whether or not to wait, but, you know, again, I think, you know, on January 2nd, I think it will speak for itself. I think we feel really good and comfortable and confident that the arena portion, the in-seat experience for our fans will deliver 100%, and the arena will be ready to accommodate a quality men's basketball game.
How much do you have to keep a big picture, mindset? Obviously the McLean is, what, a decade old, and you've got a lot of kind of balls in the air with facility stuff. But, I don't want to ask what's next, but how much do you have to keep that in the back of your head?
Always, and we're already having conversation about what's next for us, and I don't think you can ever rest, and we're blessed to be at a place that built a new stadium in 2014, and now we'll open up a brand new arena development center here in 2024, I guess. That's hard to say, and had to think about that. A new football development center in 2024, but we're not stopping. There'll be more to come, and we're going to continue to be aggressive and continue to evolve and make sure that we're always putting Baylor athletics in a place from a national brand standpoint where we can compete for championships.
Mack, are there already plans in place in terms of what you want to do here in the Farrell Center?
There are, and I think there's an initial phase once both basketball programs move out to accommodate acrobatics and tumbling immediately. And again, that's a program that's won 8 national championships. Volleyball, already has a new locker room and is firmly situated here. But those staffs will move into the office spaces. How do we accommodate an acrobatics and tumbling roster that's about 45, into the student athlete spaces where men's and women's basketball will have once lived, and then what do we do with the practice gyms to accommodate both of the programs? So those plans are in place, and we'll get started with those as soon as those two programs, both men's and women's basketball, moves out.
Do you ever get any feedback from the public about why you're producing the size of the capacity? Do you ever, does someone come up to you and say, why are you cutting 3,000 seats?
Yeah, I mean, nobody has personally come up to me, but I'm certain that there's that question that's out there. And again, I think we really going back again to 2016 and 17, spent a lot of time studying capacity and again really looking at attendance over 10 years for both programs, men's basketball, women's basketball, soliciting opinions from third-party folks. And so I think we were very intentional and thoughtful in terms of how we arrived at that number of 7,500. I think it's going to be a great fit for us, just like I think McLean Stadium and 45,000 is a great fit for us as well.
Do you expect every men's game to be a sellout?
I do.
Mm-hmm. But we need people to show up. Show up even though you got the tickets. Show up. Or give them to a faculty, staff, or student member.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.